Hello, welcome to Virtual Open Mic Interviews. I'm Bill, your host and founder of Virtual Open Mics. With me today is Sean Keel. Welcome, Sean. It's good to have you here.
Bill, thanks for doing this thing, and thanks for setting up this open mic, which is pretty cool.
Let's take a listen to a few clips from Sean's Virtual Open Mic submissions to ensure that everybody is acquainted with his sound.
You've been down to the trestle lately, spot where we dropped the Veena. Cattails, snow, and burning tires. Your long hair smelled like weed. Slaves, leaves live short lives. The ground must seem warm. A branch, a cold place to be. How do they know it's time to let go? When I know, will you let go of me? Gonna bring folks in from everywhere, far away as Dallas, Corn Palace, and Sable Town. Bet you don't get back to South Dakota, you'd say there's nothing here but Indians and gin. And I don't know how you'd find me, I don't look much like the photos. Whatever man you come to look for, I'm not here.
Those were a few of Sean's songs from past Virtual Open Mic events. You can find a list of events with Sean in the description for this video. So, Sean, where are you originally from, and has that had any influence on your writing?
I'm from a tiny little farm community in southern Minnesota. From a big Catholic family. My parents are Europeans. We're first-generation Americans. Ma's farm kid from Ireland, and Dad is from Switzerland. Yeah, for sure that had an influence on my stuff. All my songs take place there or otherwise out in the Texas Hill Country.
Currently you live in Austin, Texas. What are some open mic venues where you perform? And do you play booked gigs?
Definitely there's loads of open mics in Austin. Maybe the most unusual one and the coolest one is at the Cactus Cafe on the UT campus. That's a famous venue. You get to play on the same stage where Townes Van Zandt and Guy Clark, Lucinda Williams played. That's a special place to go to. It's you'll have a crowd, like twice as many people show up as there have spots. They just have a lottery, and then you get to play to this packed, pin drop, quiet room, and there's just a stunning and humbling level of talent there. And it's a very good show. I think it's one of the best places to hear music in Austin. You know, forget open mic. You can just hear some of the most original and coolest music right there. But definitely the main venue where I play, and my favorite place to play, is where I'm sitting right now, which is on the porch, the back porch at our house, where me and my girlfriend and our kids, till they moved out, live. We call it the Breeze Terrace Free Zone. Just kind of whip the camera around. You won't really get much of the feel, but it's a very groovy place. Almost entirely the artistic creation of my girlfriend Michelle. That's her right there. And we have regular jams. We've had them for a number of years, and especially in the last couple of years, about once a week up till this COVID business. We get Michelle puts out a big spread of food, and I reluctantly open the liquor cabinet and pull out the whiskey. And if it's wintertime, we get a big fire going in the fireplace. It is a gorgeous place, and people come. Some for the whiskey, I'm sure. Some for the food. A lot, though, for the ones that come back for the feel of the place and especially the quality of the music. These people that come can be quite humbling to hear how beautiful their music is. And I would list a bunch of their names so you could go and check them out. A lot of them are songwriters. couple of them are pros. But instead, I've encouraged them to submit music to this open mic, and I hope they'll do it, and then you can just go check them out yourself. Oh, official gig? I've had one, exactly one. It was at a little songwriting festival. That was actually run by a friend of mine, one of the jammers.
All of the songs that you've sent in to Virtual Open Mic have been you performing solo, but you have also released a couple of albums with a band, Bill the Pony. Let's talk about that. Who were the other players? Who else wrote songs or collaborated with you? And most importantly, especially to me, who's Bill the Pony?
Thanks for asking about Bill the Pony. That was a band. It's a family band, mostly family. That's me and Michelle and our kids, Rosie and Luke, who are adults now and moved out. And then friends and a few people who come to the jams. We just people that we were playing together for years, and we slowly got better, and decided and we started writing a lot of music. The songwriters are me. Most of the songs are written by me or my son Lucas or my friend Mike, and we do it in collaboration. Usually those guys write the music and I write the words. Yeah, as I'll say, those guys the two of them, their music especially, has had a huge influence on me. Who's Bill the Pony? Actually, well, it's sad that a person would have to ask that. He's a character from The Fellowship of the Ring. When early on, when Frodo and Sam were leaving Bywater, they needed another pony, and they bought this pony from Bill Ferny, who was a scumbag. And this is the pony that they took to the last homely home. That's where Elrond lives. And then when they got to the gates of Moria with the group, with Gandalf and the crew, they couldn't bring him in because you couldn't bring a pony down in the mines. He wouldn't go in. And so, very reluctantly, especially for Sam, they left him there outside the gates. And a really cool thing in the book is that when they get to Mordor later on in the third book, and this is the crisis point in the story. Every step is peril, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. And Sam and Frodo could get killed by an orc every second. Sam is fretting all the time, worried about what happened to Bill the Pony. And Frodo spends a little bit of psychic energy that he has trying to, relieve his worries, saying, "Oh, he'll probably be just fine." So we named the band after that.
We'll now take some questions from other Virtual Open Mic participants.
Hi, Sean. Kevin White here from Houston. My question is regarding your picking style or your guitar work. It seems to have some classical influence, at least that's what I hear. I was wondering if that's part of your style. What are your musical, instrumental spirit animals, as it were? And also, you being from the live music capital of the world, how are your friends in Austin dealing with this current situation? And just what are the rumblings about with your circle of friends? Good luck.
Thanks, Kevin, for the question. My picking style. Nobody has ever accused me of sounding like a classical guitar player. I'm definitely a hack's hack, especially in the beginning. I could barely play at all. I started playing when I turned 40, when I had to just give up on a lot of outdoor stuff I was doing because I couldn't do it anymore. I just wasn't physically able. And so I started playing guitar, just learned the most basic stuff, and that's all I knew. But then slowly, especially Michelle had the good idea of getting our kid, Lucas, he was just a youngin' then, really young, maybe 7, into guitar lessons, so he'd get good. And he sure did very quickly. It was not long at all before he was much better than me. And I started practicing a bit more, partly so I could participate a little bit with him in his lessons, and also, just a little bit of issue of self-respect. And I learned a few more chords through him. The style actually comes from, I've had pretty bad physical problems, and for a while, especially with my back, it was not good at all. For about 3 years, I really had a hard time sitting in a normal chair. And so in fact, I have this fancy, I'm not sitting in it now, Michelle's in it actually, fancy orthopedic chair where I'd get back almost horizontal, about like this, maybe even further than this. You can't hardly do it in a regular chair. And I'd have the guitar up here almost horizontal, and at first I couldn't play like that at all, but this was also the period where I was practicing. And so I learned to do something in that position, and then when I got a little bit better, which happily I have in the last year, I still have to play like that, like this. I've been trying to get back like a more normal person, but that's how I do it. And the finger picking, it's nice that you say that. I like the sound of that, but I do it because I have a bad sense of rhythm, and I just, especially with strumming, it just doesn't work for me very well. And I would like to be able to strum so I could kind of carry a different kind of song, but that's kind of what I can do. So that's what I do. What else? He also asked, spirit animal. Who are the musical influences? Well, in terms of professional people, I'm sure Bob Dylan. I listened to him a ton in my 20s, almost constantly. That's what I listened to was Bob Dylan. When I got a little older, especially after I had kids, I really stopped listening to him. I kind of got tired of him. I think probably foolishly, but I just it seemed kind of fake, actually, to me. It seemed like he was kind of a faker. And I started getting I had more experience in the world, and I wanted more real things, kind of more real emotion. And I got more interested in kind of the music that I listen to now, which is Texas-style country music, like Guy Clark or Lucinda Williams, people like that. And people like that had an influence on me. And when I was starting to write songs, so I quit listening to Bob Dylan at least 10 years before I wrote a song, maybe 20 years. And then when I started writing songs, the person I was listening to at the time, at the beginning, was a guy named Connor Oberst from a band, lots of bands, Bright Eyes being one of them. And he's got all kinds of music, and some of it is very, very personal, emotional, very cool, very beautifully written. You could check him out. I'd say one of his best songs is a song called Landlocked Blues. God, you write a song like that, nothing really matters after that. It's so great. Finally, you asked about what's doing in the live music capital, how are the musicians doing. I'm very much on the outskirts of the music scene. And the people that are that come and jam on the porch, the people that I know, the people I collaborate with, only 2 of them. There's maybe 10 regulars, maybe 15. 2 who come and they come kind of sporadically, are pros. The other people are people who make a living either in something that has nothing to do with music, like me, or they make a living by teaching. They give lessons, and they singing lessons or guitar lessons or whatever instrument, and that they've continued to do, and they're actually making more money at it. More people are into it. They're doing it. They can broaden their reach by doing it over the internet. So they're doing okay. The 2 pros that I know, I'm sure they're hurting. I haven't talked to them though, because I only talked to them when they'd come onto the porch, and we haven't had a big jam since everything went to hell. We still have some small get-togethers, but none I've invited them to. So I'm sure they're hurting.
Here's Veena from Melbourne, Australia.
Hey Sean, I love the stories you express through your music, and it made me wonder if you're a storyteller well before you started writing songs. So how did your songwriting journey begin?
Veena, thanks for the question. From the remarks that I've left that I'm quite a fan of your voice. It's you can carry a lot of emotion with that voice you've got. You're lucky to have it, and I hope we get to hear about you. You're totally right. I wrote for years and years. My whole life I wrote poems and short stories. I wrote a sword and sorcery novel, years and years before I ever started writing any music. I kind of wish I'd started a little earlier with the music. It's more fun. It's more social. That's right. How did songwriting start? It started really with Lucas, my boy Lucas. He was taking lessons, and we had a hard time getting him to practice, and it just sucked. To try to yell at him to do his math and then go to practice his guitar, and then the thing happened. He started writing his own songs. I don't actually remember if we pushed him on that. He just did it himself, and these were a thing to behold. I mean, he's like 9. I remember he wrote one song called what was it called? Pandora's Box. He wrote some pretty great stuff, and we just sit there with a straight face, tell him, that's pretty interesting, and and then we never had to ever again. Then we had to tell him to stop playing it, and he started writing songs, and I think him and I started writing songs about the same time. I thought, well, shit, I don't actually remember. It was about the same period. That was maybe 10 years ago.
Hey Sean, it's Greg Shields here. Your lyrics and delivery really remind me a lot of some of the great American poets sort of over the last probably 150 years, as well as some of the great storytelling songwriters that have come out of places like Texas. So I was wondering if you could name any particular influences on your songwriting or your performance style. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the question, Greg. I think you're the person I'm thinking of. If you are, I've definitely because I've left a bunch of comments. I really like your sound, and I hope we get to hear what's going on with you. Who influences? I've already said a little bit that that was Bob Dylan, and actually more influence on my sound is people closer to home. It would be my son Lucas and my friend Mike. Mike, I'll talk a little quickly about Mike. He's the guy who's in Bill the Pony. He used to be a pro bass player. He made a living playing for a couple of years playing bass in New York City. Played for Big Mama Thornton. And he played jazz. That was his thing. And when I got to know him, I was listening to bare bones country music. It's like the opposite from him. One of the first things he ever said to me was that life is too short to spend even a minute of it listening to country music. And another thing he said to me was, early on, was he just didn't really think there was a place in music for words. So we were kind of an odd pairing, but together we've made some pretty cool music. I think my best song is one I did with him. He wrote the music. He plays the gorgeous guitar part on it on the record. If you check it out, it's on one of the Bill the Pony albums. It's called One Line from a Song. When I hear that song, I'm still surprised, kind of stunned that I could be associated with something that beautiful. The other main influence for me musically is my son Lucas, actually, who's way more of a musician than I am. He started, he's got it in his blood. He can just play guitar. People are singing. He can pick up a guitar. He plays along with them. I think you got to start young to do that. I can do that with the flute, actually. Flute is what I learned when I was a kid, and now in our jams, that's what I play. But with guitar, it's just a foreign thing to me. It's kind of the enemy. But Luke, he right away got way beyond me, and he started learning all this stuff, all this musical theory and all these chords that at the time I literally thought they were just kind of pretentious, and that no real man is going to play a major 7 chord. What the hell is that? But I learned to appreciate them, and I was able to get a lot more depth and just kind of variation in my music, through the influence of Mike and Lucas.
These last 2 questions have been about the storytelling in your songs. How much of these stories are based on actual events from your life and experience? For example, in your song, Near That Far, which I also covered, you wrote, "The spot we dropped Levine." And in another song, did you really get married at a place called the Corn Palace?
Yes, so those stories are, almost all of those stories are, definitely the settings are real. The people in them are usually real people that I know, usually people that are close to me, sometimes people I heard about. And the things that happen are usually very often things that happen to me, otherwise people that were close to me. But I scramble them up. I take all kinds of different stuff and put them together. That story that you asked about, the one with Levine. Levine was a turtle that me and my brother dropped off of the trestle down into the water, and I always felt a little weird about that. And afterwards, I just thought it sounded cool in the song. That song, almost everything in that is real. I ran with not such a great crowd for a while, and some of that stuff really did happen. Pretty much all of it. The other one is one of my favorite songs, the Corn Palace. That is a song about somebody that I was close to. For me, it's very real. But none of the events in it are not at all what happened, but the emotions that are in it are completely what happened. I wrote this song thinking about one thing and about one person, and it's really great. I not that long ago I showed it to her. We're still pretty close, and I played it for her, and I could tell it was really cool to watch it. She did not get the song, did not care for the song much, and had no idea that the song was about her, which, pretty much a song in itself right there.
Hey, Sean, greetings to you from Fairfax, Virginia. This is Paul Wolfe, and I'm glad I get to pitch a question to you here in this little virtual interview. Thanks for your contributions to these virtual open mics. I'll add my amen to the many who have already expressed their appreciation for what you've posted. And I'd love to know more about your approach to lyric writing, because yours are so evocative, the imagery and the characters and the storylines, and you sing them with a voice that showcases them. And I've also noticed that you're one of the few virtual open mic participants, maybe the only one, who posts his lyrics along with the videos. So we're sure not to miss them. So am I right that you want to make sure that the poetry doesn't get lost? And do you have advice for writing or singing in a way that gives lyrics their due? I'd love to know your thoughts. Thanks.
Thanks, Paul, for the question. If you're the person I think of, if you're the preacher, you know from the comments I've written that I really like your voice and I like the songs that you're doing, and I hope we get to hear what the deal is with you. You're right. I put those. Of course, I put those lyrics there so that people will read them. Actually, it's kind of habit in the crowd I'm in Austin. The songwriters, they usually send them around because when they show somebody a song, if a person likes it, they want to play it and they want to sing it and they want to know the words. And so it's just, and people who come to the jams, I ask them, please bring words or get them on the internet so we can see them, so other people can sing along. Myself, when I listen to stuff, I love it if the words are there because then I can sing along, harmonize a little bit, and just get into it more. I never like to watch. It's nice, but it's not that much fun to watch other people having fun. It's more fun to get involved and have some fun yourself. My style of singing is a little bit like my style of guitar playing. It was kind of forced on me by physical stuff. I would love to sing in a different way, but my voice is just, every year I got a little bit less, and if I really try to sing in a more traditional way, I can lose my voice very quickly. I've had some periods in the last couple of years a couple of months where I couldn't sing at all, and it can be pretty dark on me. So I'm real careful now, and I try not to do anything that I can't do, and I use the mic a lot. I just, I can still sing a little bit if I get real close to the mic. As far as advice about writing lyrics, I can't give you much about, because myself, if I try to write, sometimes I just get nothing, and sometimes I just get it whatever for free. I can give advice about singing because I got that advice myself. It was actually from Brian Sunderman, who's a fantastic musician in Austin and was Luke's guitar teacher. He told me that what I should do is I should record myself. And at the time I was not, even that was the farthest thing from my mind. I said, then I did it. I did it with GarageBand, and it's pretty sobering to hear yourself. You do not sound near as good as you think. But if you work at it, which is what I did, you learn, what you can do and what you can't do and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And that'd be my advice if you want to sing better. You already sang good, but other people who are trying to get better, record yourself, and then you'll gain something from that. So thanks a lot.
Sean, thanks for taking the time to speak with us today. It's been great to learn a little bit about you and your work.
Thanks a lot again, Bill, for doing this. I didn't get around to thanking you for covering my song. That was really cool. I absolutely loved that. That's only the second time anyone has covered one of my songs. And this is actually the only time in my life that anyone has asked to interview me. So that is pretty cool, too. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
I hope you've all enjoyed this interview with Sean Keel. Check the description for links to past virtual open mic events with Sean and to Sean's Bandcamp page where you can download his full albums. Once again, I'm Bill, but not Bill the Pony, saying thank you and see you soon at the mic.